Good morning, everyone. Today I am with the next lesson in Cambridge IGCSE biology. In today's section, we'll talk about chapter 9, which is transport in animal. So this topic is very important in terms of exam point of view, where you will see the syllabus guide. So let me discuss the syllabus guide of this topic. So in this section, we are going to discuss about the transport in animal, and we have this chapter is quite big, so we'll split this video into two halves. So in today's section, we'll talk about the circulatory system 9.1, where we will discuss about how blood vessels and pump pumping organ and the valves, they maintain the one-way flow of the blood. We'll talk about single circulation, we'll talk about the double circulation, and we'll see the advantage of double with the single. Then we'll go to 9.2. In 9.2, we'll discuss about the structure of heart, identifying the diagram and the image of the structure of the mammalian heart limited to muscular wall, that is septum. Then we have left and right ventricles, left and right atria, one-way valves, and coronary arteries. Then we will talk about the blood is pumped away from the heart in arteries and returned to the heart in veins. So there is a two different type of blood vessels involved in this process. State that activity of the heart may be monitored and checked by ECG, pulse rate, or by listening the closing and opening sound of the valves. Then we have an investigation question here. Investigation and the describe part of the topic. So wherever we have investigate and describe part, I have made a separate video for that, where we discuss only about the investigation question from each topic, which will help you to prepare for alternative practical and practical exams, paper 5 and paper 6. So you will see this again in the next section. Describe coronary heart disease in terms of blockage and limited to state the possible risk of the coronary heart disease, and the factor which include is lack of exercise, stress, smoking, genetic problem, age, sex, and diet. Then we'll discuss about the role of diet and exercise to reduce the coronary artery disease. Then we will see identifying in diagrams and image atrioventricular valves, semilunar valves in the mammalian heart. Then we'll talk about the thickness, why the left and right ventricles walls are different. Thickness is different compared to the ventricles. Then we'll talk about importance of septum in the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Describing the function of heart in terms of contraction of the muscles of atria and ventricle. We'll see that, and then we'll see the explain the physical effect, physical activity on the heart rate, what changes you will find. Blood vessels we will discuss in the second section of the topic. So today we will start with 9.1 and 9.2. So let me begin. Okay, so let's begin with the topic. So today we'll start with circulatory system. As the see, circulation is very important because your body cells are very small. You need a channel, you need a system which ensures that the oxygen supply to that particular cell, the nutrient supply, the hormones, mineral supply, everything goes in a very fast manner. The communication should be faster as possible as can, because there are billions of cells in your body, even more than that, and all cells must get nutrients as well as the oxygen. And our pumping station, that is heart, is ensuring that everything goes in one way. If it is going in bilateral, in bilateral, then might be it will mismatch, right? So to ensure that everything is flowing in a one way, we have valves in our blood vessels. Circulatory system has majority three function in the body. When we discuss about why we have circulatory system, the overall idea of the system is to maintain, is to help to provide efficient gas exchange. That is very important because oxygen should reach to each and every part of the cell, and cells will release CO2 taken by the blood vessel, goes to lungs and all that. That thing should be very efficient, very fast. Then removal of all the wastes, whether it's a protein waste or carbohydrate waste or the lipid waste, everything should flush out from the cell, goes to the blood, and then it goes to the kidney where it get filtered. Again, this is very important. That's why we need circulatory system. And of course, we need nutrients transportation. That is very, very important. So it is the three main functions why we have a circulatory system in our body. Let's see the next section. Circulatory system in fish. As per the syllabus, we have to study single circulation, double circulation. So in the diagram, you can see this is the blood capillary. This is the heart. Blood is sending all the deoxygenated blood to the heart, and then heart is sending blood to the gills. Gills where the blood get oxygenated, and this part here, here the blood will get oxygenated, and then oxygenated blood is distributed throughout the body, and then again the same process will keep on going. So you can see blood is not coming the heart two times, it's only one time. That's why it's single circulation. So this means that for every one circuit of the body, the blood passes throughout the heart only once, just one. But if you'll see, this is the structure of the fish blood circulation. So this is ventricle, this is atrium, this is a two-chamber heart. Okay, and go to the next. But in case of mammal, if you'll see the mammals, we have a four-chamber heart and we have a double circulation. This means that in every one circuit of the body, the blood passes through the heart two times, right? The right side of the heart is always receives deoxygenated because the blood is coming from veins from upper and the lower part through vena cava. And the left side of the heart always receives oxygenated blood because it is coming from lungs. Right, so the pulmonary vein is carrying the oxygenated blood from the lungs to the uh, left atrium. So you can say left part contain oxygenated, right part contain deoxygenated blood. There is a big advantage of having double circulation. So first of all, the blood travels through the same capillary in the lungs, loses a lots of pressure that was given it by the pumping of the heart. So heart pumping also ensure that blood moves in high pressure so that it move fast and reach to each and every cells with a normal speed at the end. By returning the blood to the heart, after going throughout the lungs, its pressure can be raised again. So this is the reason why the body have, human mammalian heart have double circulation before sending it to the body cells because it will supply oxygen and nutrients so that your cells can respire and also maintain constant body temperature. So when blood is moving, they are also maintaining the temperature of the body. Mammalian heart is slightly complicated. They have four chambers. The heart is labeled as it was in the chest. So what is your left on the diagram is actually it's the right side, and what is right will be left. So you can just imagine like this. So the right side of the heart receives deoxygenated, as I said earlier, and the left side contains deoxygenated blood. Always remember this. Blood is pumped towards the heart in the vein and away from the heart into arteries. And the two sides of the heart are being separated by a muscular wall called septum. And the heart is made up of muscles tissue, which are supplied with the blood vessels called coronary artery. So these are the information you must know about the heart. This is the diagram. So we are here, the vena cava. So vena cava is actually a vein which carries its deoxygenated from the upper and the lower part of the body and goes into the right atrium. From right atrium goes to right ventricle. There is a valve here called tricuspid valve, and these valves are controlled by these tendons, which is a flap holding muscles. When the lower part get contracted, the blood will move towards this section. There is a valve called semilunar valve here, and this blood vessel is called pulmonary artery, which is going to lungs, right? Where it get oxygenated. And pulmonary vein, here it is. It will bring the oxygenated blood from lungs to the left atrium. Then from left atrium to left ventricle. Again, you have a valve here called bicuspid valve, and these tendons are controlling the opening and closing of the valve. And after that, blood will go to the aorta, and through aorta, it go to the different parts of the body, and we have a valve here called semilunar valve. So you can see here the right side have deoxygenated and the left side having oxygenated. That was the meaning I was talking about. Identifying the structure in the heart. So the ventricles have thicker muscles walls than the artery, as they have pumping blood out of the heart, so they need to generate more pressure. So obviously, when you have to send something quite far, you have to generate more pressure in the muscle so that blood move faster. So the left ventricle have thicker muscles wall than the right one, as it has to pump blood at high pressure around the entire body. So think about it. It's not an easy task. So your heart is really doing a very tremendous job to send oxygenated blood to each and every part of the body. Whereas the right ventricle is pumping blood to the at a lower speed because lungs is near, right? So they don't have to send blood throughout the body. So destination is near, that's why there is a low pressure. And obviously septums, which will separates oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. So they are preventing the mixing. Function of the valves. So we know that we have a valve present in our blood vessels and the heart. So overall, we have four valves in the heart. Two sets of valve in the heart. First is your tricuspid, and second is bicuspid. So if I have to show you the location, so where my cursor is, here this is tricuspid and this is your bicuspid. So these two labelings you have to know, and these two, the blood which is going to lungs, which is pulmonary artery, and the blood which is coming out from the heart, that's aorta, both have semilunar valves. Arteries generally they don't have, but here we have a valve, exception case, right? The semilunar valves are found in two blood arteries, that is pulmonary artery and aorta. That's what I was talking about. And these valves open when the ventricle contract, so it will maintain the flow. And valve has only one function. Wherever the valve is present, either in the heart or in the blood vessels, the only function is prevent the backflow, or it will maintain one-way flow of the blood. This is the summary what we have discussed. So you must pause the video and have a look. Meanwhile, we'll go to the next section. What is the function of the heart? How heart functions? So first of all, the deoxygenated blood is actually coming from the each and every part of the body into the right atrium through a separate blood vessels called vena cava. It's a vein. Once the right atrium has filled with the blood, the heart gives a little beat and the blood is pushed through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle. That means blood is going down now. The wall of the ventricle contract. Now the lower part is going to contract. Then the blood pushes into the pulmonary artery through semilunar valve, and blood will go to the lungs, where they are converted into capillaries, and capillaries surrounds the alveoli. Alveoli is a sac-like structure present in the lungs which contain oxygen. So when we breathe in, that alveoli will expand and the air will trap in that, and then the gas exchange will take place. That means your oxygen will come into the blood and CO2 will go into the alveoli. And by the process of exhalation, CO2 will come out, and by the process of diffusion, the gas exchange will take place. Now the blood is oxygen rich, also called oxygenated blood, returns to the left atrium through pulmonary vein. Again, we have a valve here called bicuspid into the left ventricle, which controls the one-way flow. And the thicker muscles wall of the ventricle contracts strongly to push the blood forcefully into the aorta, and through aorta it goes to all the way around the body. So semilunar valves in the aorta prevents the backflow of the blood into the heart. So they are maintaining one-way flow, you can say. So in short, you can say from vena cava goes to right atrium, from right atrium to right ventricle, from right ventricle to lungs, from lungs to left auricle, from left auricle to left ventricle, and then aorta. So this is the sequence how the blood is moving. There are so many ways we can monitor the activity of the heart, either by using an ECG machine, electrocardiograph, cardiogram. You can check, you can see the rhythm. Hope you have seen the graph which have ECG graph, which shows the how heart pumping is going on. Even with the help of graph, doctor can tell you is there any valve problem or which part is not contracting much, or any defect can be easily find out using ECG. You can also monitor the heart activity by measuring the pulse rate or listening the sound of the valve closing using the stethoscope. Heart rate and pulse rate is measured by beat per minute, BPM. To investigate the effect of exercise on heart rate, record the pulse rate at rest for a minute. Then immediately after do some exercise, again you record it, and then you can calculate the heart rate. You will find that there is a big difference. This is a small activity you can do at home to find out. This is ECG I was talking about. So you can see at regular interval, the same type of graph is coming. If this graph is anywhere different than this, that means there is a problem. Investigating effect of physical activity on the heart rate. So as I was saying, you can do a simple investigation on this, how effect of exercise on the body uh, controls your heart rate or breathing rate. We'll discuss this in a separate section of in alternative practical and the practical paper. Now we'll talk about coronary heart disease. Coronary, see, when we say coronary, the meaning is, see, first of all, we have to understand heart is pumping the blood, but heart is also supplied with the blood vessels, because the muscle cells in the heart, they also need oxygen and the nutrients. So it's like I'm doing something and I'm not getting it. That kind of thing. Like a person is giving lots of help to you, doesn't mean that you are not going to help him at any point of time. Obviously, you will do. So in the same way, the blood which is pumped here, there is some blood capillary which is provided to the lung, to the heart, so that nutrients and the oxygen should be supplied continuously. And the blood vessel which carry the oxygen, that's called coronary heart or coronary artery or coronary vein. So you can see in the diagram these red color linings which you can see on the heart structure, that is coronary artery. What is coronary artery? The heart is made up of muscle cells and they need own supply of blood to deliver the oxygen, glucose and other nutrients and remove all the waste substances from it. Obviously, we have to keep on regulating it because heart muscle cells, they are doing work 24 by 7 into till end of your life. So obviously they are doing a tremendous job. So they have to supply oxygen and nutrients as possible as fast they can do. So if a coronary artery becomes partially or completely blocked, now think about it. If it is going to get blocked by fat deposits, then the problem will start. That means the arteries are not an elastic as they should be and therefore cannot stretch to the accommodate the blood which is being forced through them, leading to a CHD, coronary heart disease. Now, I have used blockage. So it may be a partial block or maybe the complete blockage. When we say partial block of the coronary artery, it will create a kind of obstacle to the blood flow to the cardiac cells muscles and results in the severe chest pain that's called angina. Angina is the preliminary sign that you have a blockage in the heart. So the chest pain will slowly go towards the shoulder and through shoulder it goes towards the hand, biceps and triceps. So that will come. Then incomplete blockage means not at all the muscle cells are getting oxygen. They are no longer going to respire. There is no longer contraction and it will lead to heart attack. So it's like this. You can see this is the coronary artery and see the plaque. This is plaque is actually fat deposition. So it's a yellow color. So that's why the walls become less elastic and it also makes the blood vessels narrower and restrict the movement of blood flow. And plaque is generally built formed by combination of cholesterol molecule and the white blood cells. So they both get clogged and make a block. So what will happen if suppose there is a narrowing of the artery? So you can see in this animation that if there is a blockage, obviously the blood is not going to flow. There are some risk factors for CHD, like when you are having a poor diet, you are having a junk food, you are eating more saturated fat. Saturated fats are solid at room temperature and they always increases cholesterol. Stress, obviously, when under stress, hormones productions can increase or decrease. Then hormone production can increase the blood pressure also, increases the chance of blockage in the coronary artery. Smoking, nicotine in the cigarettes is a big factor which increases blood pressure and which will cause a buildup of fat globules and then slowly your coronary artery will get blocked. Some genetic problem is also there, like even the research says that people with the history of coronary artery in the family, they are more likely to develop these kind of problem in the body. Age, obviously, if you see the age, as the age will progress, the chance of getting CHD will be more. Gender, males are more likely to develop coronary heart disease than female, the research says. Now, what is the connection between diet, exercise, and coronary heart disease? So, reducing the risk of developing CHD, how to do? By quitting smoking, stop smoking. Nicotine is not going to be in the body, so chances of accumulation of the fat will be less. Diet, reduce animal fat. Don't eat red meat. Red meat have high saturated fats and cholesterol. Eat more fruits, vegetable, which will reduce your blood cholesterol level, and it will Also regulate your weight, and obviously exercise regularly. When you exercise regularly, your body blood flow faster, and whatever the small clots are there will be in the blood vessel will get dissolved, right? And also reduces your stress level. So that's very important. Thank you. And this topic is still going to continue in the next video. This is the part one of the transport in animal. Thank you and see you in the next video.